If you think working hard gets you ahead, don't worry. I used to believe that too. Then I spent years at a job that completely drained my life, broke my relationship, drained the fucking soul out of me. I hated everybody. I had no friends. I barely spent time with my family. I barely had time to do hygiene stuff. And it completely changed how I look at life, work, money, and success. How I came about this job was not my first choice. I had barely moved out of my mom's house. I got an apartment with my girlfriend at the time. Well, my fiance actually at the time. And not even one weekend, I got laid off at my warehouse job. At a warehouse job that I actually did enjoy, to be honest. And I'm a big advocate that I always hated Amazon. Amazon was the worst job that I could ever have until I took this job. This job, unfortunately, and fuck this job, is construction. But not only construction, the construction only has a group of like 3 or 4 guys, and not really, they don't, basically the best way I can explain a job like this is they don't take taxes out of your check. You have to pay it back in the government whenever tax season comes along. I got let go out of my old job. I couldn't find work. It was about a week and I couldn't get no callbacks. I didn't know what to do. I had no money saved, like every other 24-year-old. They don't have no money saved. And I had worked in this company and with this guy before, and I told myself that I would never go back. I had no other option. He was the only one that had work. I called him. He said, yeah, come the next day. And I went. I didn't think about it that much. But this time I had the idea, okay, I'm 24. My YouTube stuff's not working. I may, I may hang it up. You know what I'm saying? I may hang it up. Let me try and take over my life for once. And let me see if this construction stuff could work out. And that's my intent was with going in this job. I didn't want just another job. I wanted something to be proud of. To be like, maybe one day I could have my own construction business or company. And the reason why I was like, I'm gonna do this job, like I'm gonna stay at this one, is because it was remodeling. And remodeling, we do everything. We just don't stick to concrete. We just don't stick to lawn care. Literally whatever your house could ever possibly need or do, you want to, I almost said edit because I'm in Fortnite, you want to remodel, so to say, if trying to throw a joke in there. We could have done it. The group I was with, we could do it for you. And that's what I did. I started very at the bottom of the pole. I had a little bit of tools when I wanted to do my little car shop, not car shop, like I just wanted to work on my truck. I bought tools, I took that, and I was like, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna try and learn so I don't have to rely on something as like getting laid off out of nowhere. I'll work on my own dime. And that's what it technically was. When I got paid, I was technically my own boss, even though it was kind of bullshit for what I'm about to say later on. And yeah, and how I got to know this guy in the first place was through my brother-in-law. He ended up getting work with this dude a long time ago, way before I really even knew him. At the person I once was, what I mean by that, like work-wise, I used to be very, I gotta do the work good. I didn't used to really think of the box of, I don't care, it's not my company, I don't give a shit, I'm just gonna do the job half-ass. And I didn't do that. Everywhere I went for work, I try to do it the best I can to my ability, because that's what you're paid to do. That's what your job is. Until I worked at this place that didn't appreciate nothing at all. I used to think working hard would get me somewhere. I really did, and that was the motive that I was going into when I started this company. No, I take that back. When I started working for this company in construction, in the hopes and the idea of maybe one day I could start my own thing too. I understand the construction environment, the workplace. It is very different than most work, is different than most jobs. There's no HR department, there's no really nothing, there's no place where you go take your break. It's your coworkers, and the only management, HR or whatever is the boss, literally the head boss who makes all the money. And that's really it. It's not really like Amazon like rank where it's ranked where you have your managers, your supervisor. It's literally the boss, and then us, the co-workers. But I can even say I was below even the co-workers. I was really mistreated. And sorry in advance if I sound like this video goes all over the place, because this still does, how do I say it's I really haven't forgiven myself and really the situation. So if I tend to get really pissed off and just start getting mad and ranting and going from subject to subject, it's because I still can't really gather my thoughts clearly without getting so mad at what I went through and what I allowed myself to go through. So just a heads up, because it gets really bad. So yeah, I knew going in this was not going to be a normal workplace. If I had a problem, you basically either talk it out to the guy, and if it was the boss, you can't do nothing because the boss is literally right there. So I went with the idea, I'm just gonna tough it out. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, and I'm not gonna get no problems with nobody. I'm gonna do basically my job however they want, because this is people's houses that we're working on, not just companies like going to the mall or whatever like that. These were actual people's houses that we would do work on. Almost instantly I grabbed the feel of how that job was gonna be, how I was gonna be treated, pretty much. You know how when you start a job, especially like Amazon, the first day training, you're like, yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna last here. Yeah, that was pretty much the same feeling, but in terms of how I was gonna get treated, everybody treated me like shit. Everybody treated me terrible. Nobody seemed to enjoy life, and even my brother-in-law, and I'll get to him in a second because he's the one that I'm really upset at the most, and I find it to be funny. I never brought this up to him. I never will. But everybody treated me like shit. Nobody liked life where I worked, and I remember I always went with a happy attitude, because as a person who I am, I'm a happy guy. I really am. But working at this job just made the evil, not the evil, I don't want to sound cringe right now, but it made like I became a person of the environment I was in, and I learned up some new words, catchphrases, all that, to really mess with people and get under their skin that I didn't know before joining this job. And that's not the type of person I was, and slowly I'm still getting out of it. But if I get pissed off, those words, how I was treated, comes back, and all that ugly shit that I used to say comes out easily. It comes out so easily. And yeah, so I got treated like shit. Nobody really wanted to teach me anything. That was the part that really messed with me the most. I wanted to learn. All of those guys there knew what they were doing. I would ask, hey, how would you do this, or what do you suggest? They would and all these guys aren't, they're Spanish speaking individuals, except the boss, right? White guy boss, and everybody else, the workers are Mexican, right? To stereotypical type shit. And I'm not gonna try and say what they said in Spanish. I'm just gonna give you the gist of it. But the way they said it to me in Spanish is gonna sound way worse than what I say in English. So if you type in the comments what they even told you not even that bad, it's because in Spanish they could say it really fluently, and I'm not that fluent in Spanish, and I don't even remember what they said, to be honest, like word for word. I just knew what they said and what they meant to say. They basically telling me to figure it out, and if you get in trouble, don't tell them that you asked me and we told you to fuck off, pretty much. It was like that all the time. And since I'm the new guy, I'm fresh meat, everybody picked on me. Even what I find so crazy is even in front of the customers, they would say, oh, that's my bitch, or they would say, oh, don't worry about him, he's nobody. In the back of my mind, I'm like, what the fuck? And the one thing that really, it still hurts me to this day is my brother-in-law would go along with it, and we would go home, because at the time he lived with my parents, because him and my sister couldn't couldn't get a house. That's a whole other story for another day. Nah, that's not none of my business, but that's the whole gist. But and then we would go home and he would treat me like super nice, and I didn't like that. I didn't understand why he did that. I still don't know why. I don't understand. And for a long time, for a lot of months, I tried to go with a positive attitude because I knew I was only there to learn. I knew for a max 5 years because they literally did everything you could ever think of in the house, not just the wiring and stuff. It got to a point where every day we did something new, which was good, but then it got to a point every day I got yelled at because I didn't know what to do. I got yelled at that I was a no good fuck shit, that my mom should have, you know, did this instead of having me, that you're not worth a fuck. I'm saying this in English, it doesn't sound that bad, but in Spanish, I promise you, how they said it, it just sounds so, it sounds mean. At first it doesn't hit, but when you get told constantly every day the same stuff, and then you just feel embarrassed because then they start saying it in front of the customers, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do at that point? I'm there to learn. I try to have a good attitude and none of them care. I don't know, maybe it's just me that I'm not just an asshole individual, but I could never understand that. I could never understand that. Yeah, I got to the point where it's like simple things that it was simple to them. It wasn't simple to me because I've never done it. I've never done it. Because every day we do something new, and I don't understand how they don't see that from my point of view. Now that I left and I was there for like 2 years, they never cared, but I'm gonna get to that later. It just got really bad, like really bad. And there's three individuals, well really four, that I want to talk about in this story. There's my brother-in-law, the 50-year-old, the boss, and his son. I'm gonna start with my brother-in-law. I didn't like him, and to this day I feel some type of way against him because they ended up managing to land a house, right? Put a down payment on the house, but then this is what I'm thinking. This is not, I don't know if this is true. This is what it just looks like from the outside, and this is how I feel. They managed to get a house. The payments are stupidly high. They didn't know what to do. And what ended up kind of happening was they turned to heavy Christianity. They were all about God. Really, I'm trying to I'm just really trying to describe my brother-in-law, what I see from this. And my brother-in-law became all God man type all of a sudden, and he changed his ways because I felt like he needed something to help him to try to think how he's gonna pay for this house. So he resorted to Christianity, and he's all the nice guy now. And at work, he really did change. He was super nice, but coincidentally he became super nice after I pretty much snapped back at him and saying how, because he was just saying, you're doing that wrong, why are you doing it like that? And I pretty much snapped, like, you haven't done shit over here, so I don't know why the fuck you're coming over here and trying to talk about what I'm doing. We'll worry about what you, like, he wasn't even working where I was working in. I basically told him to fuck off, don't talk to me, don't worry about it if you're not even doing it yourself. But I said it in such a rude way, in such a way that is like we could throw down, because I got tired of them just saying shit to me every day. And after that, coincidentally, he stopped messing with me, but at the same time he went like to the church around the time heavily. So I don't know if what I said had an impact or he changed his ways, but that's what it looks like from the outside. And I still feel some type of way because he's nice and now to me, and it's like every time we would go to work, you would just be an asshole to me. I'm not gonna say I don't forgive him. It's just like, it's just the facade. I feel like if you didn't get that house, you wouldn't have gone to the church and you still would have been an asshole. Now sure, you could say that, well, you know, God works in a mysterious way, maybe that was his time or whatever. Yeah, I don't give a fuck that piece of shit reasoning. He didn't need to treat me like a fucking piece of shit for a year and a half and then all of a sudden just change his ways and act like everything's all forgiven. Because since he was my brother-in-law, the boss would talk shit about him to me sometimes, and I would let him know like, hey, he kind of wants you to start doing this and that, but the boss wouldn't tell him because the boss doesn't give a fuck. I'm gonna get to him in a second too. Everybody's gonna get talked about today because I never told this to anybody, and I need to get this off my chest because I need to learn how to move on from this. And even though he would treat me like shit, I would still tell him that the boss said this and he kind of wants this from you now. And I told him, and he started doing it, and coincidentally this motherfucker got a raise. But I'm not hating because he married my sister. He's the children of my sister's kids and stuff, and it's like it ultimately helps them, you know. I'm not upset about it, but fuck you, man. Fuck you for treating me like that, dude. And I still looked after your back when I probably shouldn't have. That just messes with me, dude. It does. I don't see how that's fair. Now the next person who I want to talk to, oh my gosh, if you haven't listened to any other of my videos, I'm Hispanic, I'm like Mexican, and you know, it's not untold thing that not untold, there's ICE around and stuff, and I don't like when people get separated from their families. I don't think that's okay, especially when they've been here for a long time. But there was numerous occasions where I was like, I don't care if ICE would get you one day and take you away from your kids, because the way this man is, bro, I'm telling y'all, he does not deserve anything in life, to be honest. He treats his wife like shit. No, he talks about his wife like shit. The way he would talk about her at work to us was just terrible. He would say, I wish I could be like born in like the Muslim countries so I could have 50 wives but not just one. He would just bring up like running a train on women. He has like 4 kids. Just a disgusting 50-year-old man. Every time he would be at home, like on a day off, he'd be like, I didn't do nothing all day at my house. My wife goes to work and I make her make me food. I don't clean the dishes. I don't do nothing. She does all of that. But at the same time, this man does have like 3 houses. Ask me how, I don't know. Maybe back then he was a good worker and a nice dude, but now he's just a complete asshole. His brother told me he wasn't like this. Before the houses, he was really a nice dude, but after the houses, he seemed to have like an ego trip and he just treated everybody like crap. And he just loves to talk. And then about his work, he does not like taking responsibility. I remember like the first week there, I vividly saw my boss say, you paint the ceiling and let them cut in. Tell me why this dude comes and he's like, you paint the ceiling and me and my son will cut in. Knowing damn well I've never painted a ceiling, especially at $1 million house. I'm like, I know what you're saying. What do you mean just paint the ceiling? Okay, that's no problem. I did paint it, ended up painting the ceiling, and the lady liked it. The homeowner liked it. She liked how I painted the ceiling. But the problem was, it started to be like that for everything. He didn't want to do anything that could, like, if it's done wrong, he doesn't want to get told nothing. It became every day. And the thing about this coworker specifically, he did not speak a lick of English, and he would always blame him. His excuse was, I don't know English, but he had like 30 years in this country to learn English. He cannot pull that card. My dad is older. He moved here. He got his papers. He learned English. This man refuses to learn English just so he could have the excuse to say he didn't know what the boss told him. He didn't know what he said. He plays that card a lot, and I hate this dude. I swear, I don't say hate lightly, but this dude, if I were to get him, I would laugh. I really would laugh. The way he treated me was terrible. It's terrible the way he would treat not even me, my brother-in-law, and the boss. He just was a big asshole, a complete big asshole. There's so many things. The way how he would talk just got under your skin, just slick shit. And then when you call them, because I called them out on a fight numerous of times, because it just got to the point where what why are you so upset of being alive that you need to treat everybody like shit? And I called him out to fight, and he would have the stupidest look on his face. Come to find out, my conclusion after leaving is that there's something mentally wrong with him. But I don't care. You're 50 years old. You're damn near 60. You talk about your wife like that so disgustingly. You talk about everybody. I don't care if you were to leave today. I would be happy that somebody else would get to have the oxygen that will probably be used more efficiently than you. He is a terrible person. Right, he never wanted to clean up after the work site. He never wanted to help you. He's like, I'm not a friend of nobody. But whenever he was left alone, he would always ask for help. Just a big piece of shit. No good motherfucker, dude. I hate this dude so much with everything I got. I hate this dude, man. And then he would he would spend all day on this section of a house just to waste time, while me and my brother-in-law would have to hurry up because there was multiple things to do. Just a complete waste of life. A complete waste of life went through that man. He's just a worst dude. I can't even say stories because, like I said, I'm getting too worked up. And I'm really not getting worked up. I'm just really trying not to cuss a lot because this ugly, fucking no good piece of fucking I'm telling you, man, this man, I'm too heated to even try and focus. This man, my gosh, dude, my gosh, it could be 7:30 in the morning and he'll just talk shit to you, and it's like, bro, why did you wake up like this? I hate this dude, man. And what I hate more is that I let it happen a lot. He would talk to me like if I was his son, because I was younger. He would try and talk to me in a very mean tone voice that I just did not like. He would make jokes that just if I tell you he makes jokes about how he talks about his wife, how wish he had more than one wife to fuck, to run trainings on women. Y'all can get how much of an asshole this dude is. He does not appreciate anything. He does not care about nobody. And I remember one time we were working at this house and he was mad at me for some reason. I have no clue. I don't even talk to nobody. He's always the one to come start shit. And I did something that he did all the time. It was just me and him. The boss wasn't there. My brother-in-law wasn't there. It came around 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock we leave. But if we see that something has to be done later, we stay. Obviously, that we stay late. My boss wasn't there. My brother wasn't there. And I don't know why this dude had an attitude, because I had asked him, hey, do you I had asked him for if he needed help or if he had an extra blade or something. No response. Typical of him. Okay, cool. He wants to be a fucking bitch about everything. Okay, I'll be a bitch too. When it came around 5, I left. Turns out the next day he stayed till 6 and he got mad because he needed help. I was not finna help him. He does not help. He never helps to clean. He never helps nobody else. He's just a worthless speck of fucking gum, bro. The fucking porta potties, the shit that's all the way at the bottom, has more value in life than he does. That's how much I hate this dude. Now, I know I'm really not saying a lot of things that really point to the title of this video, but all of this made me realize one thing, is that I will probably never be rich, and maybe you won't either, because now I'm going to talk about my boss. That 50-year-old, I left out a lot of stuff. He hit my truck. There's still a scratch on my truck to this day from what he did because he wasn't paying attention. He would always try and act like the boss whenever he wasn't, but since I didn't know what to do because I'm new, he took advantage of that. They all took advantage of me. There's just so much more that I could say about this dude, man, that I wish I could paint a better picture of how much of an asshole he is, but I hate this man. I really do. I hate this man. I hate this man. I really do hate. I hope he dies pretty soon. I hope he's not here for that much longer. And I'll be so happy the day I found out. All his kids crying, especially his wife. His wife has no clue how bad he talks about her behind her back. No clue whatsoever. Not a single clue. She goes home, she smiles at him, and she has no clue how much he had talked about her that day in such a negative way. And I love it because it brings me so joy that he's such a piece of shit, treating probably somebody who's really nice to him. Now let's talk about my boss. Now, before we get to my boss, let's talk about his piece of shit son. And the reason why I could say a piece of shit son is because he hates his son too. Miraculous, like, what are the chances, right? He hates his own son. This guy, he's almost as worse as my boss, his dad, but not really, just because I was with the dad more than the son. That's the only reason why. But if I had worked for the son more, the son probably would have took the spot for being the number one asshole. When I worked for the son, it was cool at first because he does a lot of, what's the proper word for it? He did a lot of, so it's called residential and then commercial. He would do a lot of commercial jobs, and commercial jobs, you're not really paid the hour. You're paid for the, well, every job you're paid for the job, but when it came to commercial for the son, if we finished the commercial job in an hour, we were done for the day. That's the only reason I liked going with him at first, because sometimes we would drive, it'll be like an hour, we work for an hour and a half, and then that's it. I go home, I get paid for a full day. You know, not bad, right? Cool. But then my voice is starting to crack because I'm still not over that 50-year-old dude, man. Just not like that sounded gay. Just how much I hate this dude, bro. It got to the point where we would do multiple jobs a day. Each job was like an hour away. At the end of the day, I just got paid for one job. I got paid $150 with this man. My truck every day will be like almost halfway by how much we drove. And then it started getting to the point where I had to go to his house early in the morning and pick up his tools for the job. So here's how it would work. He would tell me a job. Okay, cool. I would go to his house, pick up what we needed for the job, and then I'll meet him at the job. Keep in mind, at the time in the apartment, his house was like 40 minutes away. So 40 minutes driving to his house for the tools. And then the job would be like another 40 to an hour long. And then it'll be like 2 or 3 jobs a day. And then at the end of the day, I would have to go back to his house and drop off the tools and then be in the traffic to go home. And then we wouldn't, he likes to leave like in the middle of the job because it'll get to a point where I could do it, but I would never get a lunch. I never got a lunch with this dude, actually. I would always have to sneak a lunch for me. But he would go to lunch. He would leave to go get lunch while I finish a job, and then he'll tell me meet me at the other job. Not only that, the way he treated me was way worse than my brother-in-law and give it or not, the 50-year-old. Just the 50-year-old I spent more time with, which is why I hate this dude so much. Doing that over and over really sucked, man. I hated working for him, and the funniest thing is about it, I couldn't not go, or it felt like I couldn't not go. Why do you say that? Because I'd be working for the boss, the dad, and the son will call him. At this point, I already knew he was asking about me. He would be like, hey, can such and such come and help me? Do you mind sending him? Do you need him tomorrow? Or can he come right now? Yada, yada, yada. Whatever, right? And by the way my boss answered, I knew he was talking about me. But the way my boss would ask me would be in such like a bitchy way. He gave the eyes, the puppy eyes. He gave like the sad voice, like, hey, do you mind helping out my son? He needs help. And it would just get me every time. And there was one time I said no. And he was like, why? He was like, I just don't want to. But he's like, why? Just go help my son. I'm like, I don't want to help your son. I waste so much gas with your son. I do not want to help your son. He's like, I go pump your gas. I didn't want to. He ended up not letting it go. And I ended up we went to the gas station. He pumped my gas. Now that sounds like a good boss. He pumped your gas. And I'll even say this. When my battery died, he paid for 300 battery. But it's in disguise for what I'm about to expose about him later. Just keep with me. Just stay here with me. So it got to the point where I would drive to 2-3 different locations. I wouldn't be accommodated for my gas. I wouldn't have a lunch. I'll get home so late. By the time I got home, it'll be like 8 o'clock, and I just hated working for him. But dumb me, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is the sacrifice, you know, one makes when one has a construction company or remodeling company. You know, you're gonna have nights like this. It was every night. I was like, you know, maybe this is just like, you know, a bad season or whatever. It's just we had to stay late pretty much every day. And yeah, I remember one time I drove from I'm not gonna say the cities because I want to say anonymous. I went to the I went to the son's house from my apartment. It was like a 40-minute drive, and I had to drive an hour and 40 to this job. I drove there. He met me there. We did the job. Okay, cool. It took us all day of bitching and complaining for him. Not to mention this dude, oh my gosh, he has a temper tantrum like I've never seen nobody have. He has a temper tantrum of a 4-year-old. If something is off for 1 second in front of the customers, keep in mind, he'll start yelling, he'll start throwing stuff just in the middle of like work in front of people. He'll complain, he won't cry, but it sounds like he's crying. He'll get so mad he steps out and he leaves me alone with the customers. What do I tell him? What do I tell them? It's an embarrassment for me. I'm just there to work. I'm not there for all this extra shit. But now I know why he's like that, because his dad is the one who made him like that. And the boss, I'm coming for you, bro. Just give me a second. And it would be like that every day. Every day it'll be an anxiety trip for me, because I didn't know if he was gonna yell at me. I didn't know if he was gonna yell at the customer. I didn't know he was gonna trip up about what. It got too much for me to work with him. But what I'm gonna say is, this one time, like what I just said earlier, I drove an hour and 40 away. We took almost like all day to do the job. He went to go do another job. Okay, fine. You know what? He's like, but you could go home. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want, because I really don't want to go with you. I don't want to be with you. That was it. I drove an hour back because the traffic is so insane. I get there. He calls me as soon as I get to his house. He's like, hey, you're gonna have to go back and fix it up because my boss doesn't like how we did it. But I'm like, it's an hour and 40 away and more now that there's more traffic. He was like, I know, but if we don't do this, we're not gonna get paid. He says we, but it was always me. He's like, let me call my boss, see if it'll be okay. I say, all right. He calls me back, huffing and puffing, because apparently while he was talking, they stole stuff out of his truck. And you know how when you get mad, you start huffing and puffing that you're just about to cry? That's what he sounded like. And he basically told me, get the fuck over there. I don't care. So I pretty much went, and I stayed there for like another 4 hours. I would text him as like, hey, is this okay? Is this cool? He wouldn't text back. Yada, yada, yada. Some other people came. They were going to destroy the work I just did because they had given up on him. And I still have this man's tools, by the way. So I would have to drive an hour 40 back. And that's what I did. I was like, fuck it. I left. And by the time, and when I did leave, he said, yeah, it's fine. You can leave. An hour 40 still back to his house. And what really pissed me off was this became an everyday occurrence where I would pass my apartments every day just to get to his house, and just to see the amount of time that I wasted that I couldn't be with my fiance. It really hurt me. Driving by the apartment, taking this dude's tools back because he's just a fucking piece of shit. It really put a toll on our relationship, but I'll get there in a second because it gets worse. And I ended up going to the son's house. I dropped off his tools. I didn't get home till like 10 o'clock. And I was just so upset about it. I was so fed up. I didn't really talk to my fiance that much in this job because I was just treated like shit every day. Every single day I would get treated like shit. I would do all the heavy work. I pulled my back once because the 50-year-old didn't want to help me, and I had to go get a massage from these Chinese people. They really hooked me up. But it got so bad that I didn't have a life. It was just construction. Construction. In the morning when I woke up, It was just construction. When I got there, the boss talks about construction. At lunch, he wants to talk about construction. When we time to leave, he wants a conversation about the job we did today about construction. And then he would be like, "I'll text you later on what I want you to do for tomorrow." And then it would just cycle and repeat, and it became a lot. Like I came in this really happy. I was like, I'm gonna do my own thing, and it became one of the worst things to ever happen to me. But the next day after the long ass day, I was like, you know what? I'm one of the guys, right? I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the guys, right? So I was like, damn, I didn't go home till 10 o'clock last night working this job. And the first thing that came out of their mouth was, shut the fuck up. You don't know what real work is. You just stayed up till 10. You only worked till 10. How about you stayed up to 3 or 4 and then start again at 6? Then we can talk. It's like, why is there an award for who got treated the worst at a job? I thought I was one of y'all to talk. Like, this is the vibes that we get. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the construction life, talk about, oh, I worked till like the 10. It was a long day, and be like, but no, I just got treated like shit. I basically got told you don't know what hard work is. But in reality, I didn't know what hard work was. I do know what it is. And now I get to the boss, the one on top, the one where I I can I cannot stand this man more than the 50-year-old. I hope he dies a painful death. I really do. I don't I don't care about this man anymore. I really did. When I first started this job, I tried to be perfect. I tried to do everything right, neat, precision. For him just to tell me, I know you're not giving it 100% because no one does. But in reality, I was. I was giving it 100% of the ability of what I knew to do because I knew I didn't know nothing. And this man took advantage of every possible thing of me, literally. He would use me as his errand boy. He would use my truck, yeah, almost every day. He had a house burnt up, um, which is kind of his karma, to be honest, because the way he treats people is not right. And for his house to burn up is just kind of like, now I look back and it's like, it's kind of funny. It's like, that's what you kind of get for treating people like shit. I have a feeling his house burnt up because of his golf cart. Because he liked to like rig stuff a lot. And his golf cart had like battery. He hooked it up to a battery pretty much. And I feel like him like rigging the battery to hook up to the golf cart made a spark and it just caught on fire. That's just my guess. But he likes to say he doesn't know, which he probably doesn't. The insurance company couldn't come up with the reason, so I'm pretty sure that's how he lives. That he knows that it probably wasn't his fault. But I have a feeling it was because of his golf cart. When his house burnt down, this when it got really worse. He would call me in the morning, tell me to go to these stores to pick up stuff. I would drive 2 hours, an hour, get to his house. If I don't give him a receipt in the first second that I meet him, he just starts yelling at me. He's like, I've run a successful business. I need my receipts. Where the fuck is my receipts? I don't give a fuck. Just give me my receipts. And then when I would ask for gas money, he would give me a face. He would do his puppy sad eyes. He would be like, I'll just give it to you at the end of the week. Um, he would take advantage because I didn't know nothing. He would try to take me under his wing at the same time. He would make me do all the heavy, everyone made me do the heavy work, but he especially made me do like a lot of the heavy work. And I got paid the least, and he used my truck the most. I'm the only person's vehicle he used, because the 50-year-old's excuse was he doesn't know English, so he can't go to the store and buy stuff for me. He can't go to Home Depot and tell the lady, can you call my boss, and he's gonna pay for it, because he's just a stupid dumb individual, right? He can't speak English, even though he's been here longer than I've been alive. He can't do it, so you have to go. You have to go do it. You have to go waste your gas. You have to go every day, because every day we needed something, and you're gonna have to pump your own gas, and I'm gonna pay you the least, and you're just gonna have to do it. And I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you just get another job? Nobody called me back.
I was stuck here. I didn't work for a week when I got left from the warehouse. And that made me fall behind so much. I just couldn't get up and quit this job. So I toughed it out. And in the midst of all of this, my relationship with my fiance became really bad because at the same time, out of all of that, whenever I would go home, the few hours I had, I would stream every day because I was looking for a way out. And in all of that, I ignored the one person who really actually gave a fuck about me. And I wish I could go back in time and really not so worried much of trying to make it on social media, but just spend more time with somebody who actually loved me. And I treated her like shit because you are of what your environment is. I just ended up treating her like shit. I ended up ignoring her. I wouldn't even say hi. I would just walk in, go straight to the office and stream. And I would eat when I was done and give her a kiss on the bed. She was already asleep. And it'll be um the same thing every day. I hated what happened to me. I don't think I deserved. I don't think I deserved that. The only thing I learned was how to be a big asshole to the people who I want to be an asshole to. I know exactly what to say. I know exactly what to target. I know what to bring up in a situation. I know not what to bring. I know how to be a fake friend in front of your face. And the thing that I learned about it all was I don't think I'm cut to be rich. I don't think I could be an asshole to a person just to make sure I make my profit. This man, when his house burned down, got over I think 1.4 mil. And since he's a contractor, he knew exactly of every single dollar it went to. He spent probably only half of that money for his house and he kept the rest, he banked it. But yeah, he would complain if I would ask for 20 bucks because he would use my truck every day. He would use my truck every single day. Now back to the battery where he spent $300 for a battery. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie, but I just think back that I think he only did that because he knew I didn't have enough money to buy a battery, and who else is gonna run my errands for me if I don't use him? And to top it all off, working with this man, he never paid overtime. We would work 10, 12-hour days. We only got paid for 8 hours. He would talk to his colleagues, not his colleagues, but like he would have his carpenter, his carpet guy, his plumber guy, and he would always brag about we only work 8 hours, but we could work till however we want if we felt like it. He was so prideful of that, and I hated it, and I hated it so much because he never paid over. He never liked to pay. He never wanted to pay what was supposed to be paid. And even when they were doing his house, if he didn't like one little detail, he wouldn't pay the guys. He didn't pay this dude $3,000 for this concrete job for the foundation of his house because he didn't like something. I'm not sure, that may be out of my realm, but he's just an asshole. And there was a time where I left. I couldn't take it no more. I moved back to my mom's and I just left. I didn't need to work for him no more. I had no bills. I had enough money to cover my storage unit and a credit card bill. And until I run out of money, I went back, but I went back different. I did not do it. I did not care what they said. I didn't do anything they said, to be honest, because I by that time I already knew what to do. By that time, oh, we're gonna put up some siding. Okay, I know the steps to that. You don't need to tell me shit. Oh, we're gonna paint this. Okay, I know what kind of paint we need and I know how to paint it. I don't need you. And with that same attitude of me learning, I got laid off. I learned and I went through shit to learn just for them to lay me off. I stuck through all of that to get laid off because I knew what to do now. I knew what to do. I helped him. I used my truck even though I didn't want it to. I would pay for my gas every fucking day. I'd only get paid 120. 120 in 2025, bro? In 2026? That ain't shit, dude.
for gas in 2024. 120 is what I got paid a day. Damn near $40 every day for gas because he needed something every fucking day and he couldn't go. Could you imagine waking up six o'clock in the morning to not get home till like 8? You get treated like shit all day, and the only thing you do is come home wanting to stream to find a way out. And then when that didn't work, you're still stuck in this piece of shit job. And then when you finally learn enough that you don't really need them to tell you what to do, you get laid off. Because by this point, I didn't want to do anything with construction. If you work in construction, I will judge you. I will. If we work in construction, I will automatically think you're the piece of shit, worst of the scum. Especially if you're a young, like from La Raza, bro. I advise anybody to get out of construction. It's not worth it. If you have no other choice, then you have no other choice. I don't advise anybody to work in construction ever. I hope robots take over and that's the first job they take. I hate it. I hated every single day for like a year and a half. Every single day. I hated. It got to the point where I got anxiety, like a panic attacks. And my loving fiance would calm me down every morning. Just for me to treat her like shit when I got back home. Just because I was a fucking loser. Because I didn't know how to like really defend myself in an environment like that. To get treated like shit every day. Not being treated fairly. Not getting paid fairly. Not being paid for what you actually worked. And never could really get an escape. It was, I don't know why I went through that. I really don't. And then when the boss found out that I was getting paid more with the son, he got mad, and for a little bit he stopped letting me go work for his son because he didn't like the idea of someone making a lot of money. If we were to go work at a house and the owner wanted to give us tips, he would take the tips away from us. I remember one time I worked for the son and the dad in the same day, and the dad was like, "I'm not gonna pay you for this day because you got paid working for my son," even though it was two separate jobs. He always took our tips. He never paid what was ours. He never liked. He just didn't like me, and I don't care that he didn't like me, but I don't know why he couldn't just treat me with respect. You take our money, you work us till we don't see the sun no more. You use my truck specifically. You target me when I would ask for help. You would embarrass me in front of everybody. I don't know why I went through this. But one thing that I can say is that I don't ever plan on doing construction ever in my life again. Never in my life. And I advise every young person out there to do anything else but construction. I would rather work at Amazon. Because at least at Amazon, they have protocols they have to follow and they can't treat you like shit. And they have to pay you the work you pay, the hours you worked. They have to. But when HR, the boss, the CEO, the accountant is one person in the construction company, you are fucked. They will take advantage of you. They will work you till you're tired. You will learn things that you will never learn before. You will take some of it with you home, and you will probably use it on your loved ones, even if you don't want to, until it's too late when you realize. I advise you to never work in construction. Ever. Never. Never, ever work in construction. I want all young men or females, if you're in this field too, to find something else. And for those 4 men, I can't even call y'all men. Y'all are just bitches. Y'all complain more than the females. No disrespect to the females, but y'all are the worst human beings that I've ever witnessed in my life. And I'm so glad that I'm younger than all of y'all, because I will get to see y'all fucking funeral. I would get to see your cemetery. And I'ma laugh.
because there's only one place for you when you go is hell. Because there's no way a just God will allow someone like that into his kingdom. You treated somebody like me who was very optimistic, very energetic. I really am a happy guy. The being in that workspace completely just changed the way I see things. I'm so happy that y'all will be in hell. And I mean every single word of that because I see what y'all did and I know what not to do if by the grace I'm in a position to own my own thing, but I doubt it because I don't think I can't treat somebody like a piece of shit if I see somebody who was once in my position, just trying to work, trying to make it, trying to learn. I don't think I know I can't do that to somebody else. I am not that mean. I am not like them. And I never will be. And I hope you don't ever realize what you did. So you could live your life the same. So I know where you're starting to go. And by me saying all this, it's not even 1% of what they did. I just got emotional and while talking about it. But to get treated like shit every day, physically as well. I didn't even say I got physically like it got physical too, and I couldn't really do nothing because my boss would say, you know, if you hit a guy over the 65, it's a felony. And I wouldn't try and fight, but it's like if I were to try to call out the 50-year-old, it's at the back of my mind, I knew if I really like beat the fuck out of this man, they're gonna have to call the cops and he will leave. And I always, because I'm a good person, and I say I don't really want him to go. Like I don't want them to take him away from his family, and I really don't want to do nothing that I may end up in jail for. But there were so many times where I just wanted to. And the son, the son has a messy divorce, custody problems. He has his new girl right now. I hope he gets to the process and marries this chick, and hope it just falls apart because he's an asshole as well. And my brother-in-law, I for him, I don't wish nothing that bad because he is with my sister and he is the father of their kids. But I hope in the back of my mind you know what you did to me because I kind of looked for you for you to back me up, and you never did until the end where it didn't matter because I already had built this shield on me, and you just came too late. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I left out, but this is just a small tale of what it was like to work in the worst place that I've ever worked in my life. And that's pretty much it. If you enjoy what I had to say, like, if not, I guess. See y'all later.